Hope you're doing well enough today. Yesterday, I talked a little bit about this particular aspect of dukkha that um, has to do with the kind of ongoing, repetitive nature of life, getting up and looking for a job or going to your job or, brushing your teeth or going to the bathroom, fixing a meal, cleaning up after a meal, etc. These things that we just have to keep doing as we move through this life, and how that can feel, um, monotonous or sometimes burdensome, and how that was one aspect of this third level of dukkha, the dukkha that um, technically is about the incessant impinging of the sense doors with sense contact, and how there's just the incessantness of that can be a little a little much. By the way, um, this is why it's so important that we get our 4 hours of dreamless sleep, and why rest actually happens during that time, because even the sense door of the mind is turned off at that time. It's not being impinged upon. And of course, nor are the other 5 sense doors. And because they're not being contacted, there's that rest. It's like, oh. And so this is ongoing, this practicing, and this being with this level of dukkha, because dukkha is ongoing. If life is ongoing, dukkha is going to be ongoing, being one of the 3 characteristics. And today, just want to shift to the first level of dukkha in the teachings. It's called dukkha, and it has to do with the the normal things that we would think of as suffering, like challenges and pains in the body, hurts, and pleasant sensations, injuries, disease, etc. Right, and then also in the heart and the mind. We get hurt, we get jealous, angry, whatever. We feel slighted by someone else. We feel lonely. We feel left out. All the challenges of, you could say, of the interior life, the heart and the mind. And these two together, this dukkha, the range and breadth of it in this world is just totally staggering. If you just look at your own heart and mind and see what's happening there, your own aging body, see what's happening there. People that you know, people that you care for, friends, relatives, loved ones, family members, what's happening with them. Other acquaintances that you know, what's happening with them in their lives. Again, both in the body and in the mind. And it just, if we take the time to connect, it can quickly become overwhelming. And so we need to be skillful as how much we touch this. We want to lean into it, absolutely, because there's that tendency to not want to know, right? So we do want to lean into it, but we have to be skillful in terms of how much we lean into, and also to resource ourselves and bolster ourselves so that we have the capacity to lean into. So our own hearts and minds and bodies, hearts, minds, and bodies of the people we're close to, hearts, minds, and bodies of acquaintances, people that we know of, and then all the beings that we don't know, but we're aware of, say, the suffering that's happening, the Rohingya people, the people in Syria, etc. Right? Just, again, staggering levels of this type of suffering in the world. And, The Buddha said, dukkha is to be experienced. Each of the Four Noble Truths has something that we're supposed to do with it, and the first one we're supposed to experience. And so just acknowledging the challenge of this, the depth and the breadth of the suffering in this world, and also pointing to, um, again, we need to be skillful. We need to have the resources to be able to do it. This small sense of self does not have the capacity to take in all the suffering in the world. It's too much for this this self. And we can kind of stretch and build up our capacity to touch what's hard to touch. We become more resilient. We can actually stretch, and we find out that perhaps what we thought we could not bear, that we actually can bear. And again, in the process of doing this, we need to be skillful and not overwhelm ourselves, because then we're not any good to anybody, including ourselves. And of course, one of the ways that we train to be with what is, and especially when what is difficult, is to be with what is right here. The more we can train ourselves to stretch, to bolster this capacity to be with what is when what is difficult, when we can do that right here, or to the degree that we can do that here, then becomes to the degree that we have the resources to do that outwardly, to stretch and touch the suffering of others and of the world. So let's go ahead and practice that now. And we don't have to this isn't about conjuring up just before we start. It's not about conjuring up difficulty. Okay, I'm going to sit and I'm going to practice being with what's difficult. Let's conjure stuff up. No. In our practice, we really want to just be with what is. And of course, it won't take long if we're sitting and just being with what is for something challenging to come up in the body or the heart and mind. So just to be clear about that, we're not going to conjure up difficulty. So settling into the position that you're going to do the formal practice in. Establishing this first kind of cursory relationship with the body as you feel it in the position that it's in. And we form this gentle intention that the body soften and relax. This helps the attention sink down into the body, and it helps us to connect with the body more intimately. There's this lovely reciprocal relationship between relaxing the body and feeling the body. Relaxing the body and feeling the body, they both are the effect of the other and the cause, or they affect and the cause, each of them at the same time with each other. And we can experience that. Notice how when you soften and relax the body, it's like more of it comes online to be known somatically. And as you become aware and more intimate with your body, how that supports it relaxing more. Little slight places of holding that maybe weren't known or felt before now can be felt and perhaps let go. And as we connect intimately with the body, of course, any parts or way that the body is a challenge, painful, unpleasant, that comes online. We come into contact with that. This is one reason why the formal practice can be so helpful in this way, training and cultivating our ability to sit or stand or whatever, be with what's unpleasant. If we meditate for longer periods of time, there's just no doubt the body will become achy, painful. We learn to be with that, to not move away. Move away, i.e., moving the body so as to have the pain go away. Sometimes we move, sometimes it's helpful too. But can we cultivate this capacity to be with what's difficult? In this case, physically difficult. It can be helpful to frame, to have that view of what you're doing if and when you come into contact with challenging, painful sensations in the body. We're not just grinning and bearing it for the sake of it, we're actually training, cultivating a heart and mind that can be with a range of experience without so much reactivity. Pema Chodron talks about learning to stay. May our willingness to touch the suffering in this world lead us to our deepest happiness and freedom. I want to reiterate as we go through our lives and um, practice in this realm that, yes, in general, the Buddha said dukkha is to be experienced, and in general, we want to lean into this aspect of our world, ourselves, our own hearts and minds, bodies, etc., as I mentioned earlier. And there is this need to be skillful. People who are very naturally empathic. It's like, if you're one of these people, you're really going to need to titrate what you let in, and maybe how much news you watch, etc. How much you you are in contact with other people when they're having a really hard time, because for natural empaths, it's very easy to get overwhelmed. And again, overwhelmed is not helpful for anyone. Um, or on the other side of the spectrum, say, like, take myself, for example, maybe in a more privileged position as a white male. I'm actually needing to lean into this more, because maybe um, in my world, there could be less of suffering than compared to some other people. So we need to figure out where we are in this, and let that inform how we practice with it. Yes. So yes, practice, lean into it, and we're all in different places, and what's skillful for one may not be for another. So just wanted to reiterate that because it's important. Okay, friends, that's it for now. We'll continue to explore dukkha, I think, a little bit more in the days to come. Okay, I wish you well today. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.